Hello there. I'm just here sitting on my computer and thinking about the courts in Canada and family law as it's practiced. In light of the fact that close to 90% of all men lose in family court, I just wanted to let you know about that statistic. That's right, 90%. So if your friend comes to you with a business proposal and says to you, I want you to invest your money in this business proposal, but I have to warn you ahead of time, buddy. You have a 90% chance you're going to lose your money. Are you going to invest? Well, most people would take their money and run out of the room. And the fact of the matter is, those are your statistical averages as a man of getting custody of your children in family court. You have a 90% chance of losing. Those are statistics. I bet your lawyer never told you that, did he? Well, I don't understand why. Why didn't he tell you that? You think it might have persuaded you not to spend as much money on legal fees as you did, knowing that you have a 90% chance of losing? Well, there's only one word to describe what the courts do, and I just found it here on this dictionary. Let's see what Canada's courts are like. What is the word that I found that describes them?
Bigotry.
What's that?
Bigotry.
Say it again.
Bigotry. 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 Bigotry.
They're bigots. They're bigots. What is that? A behavior or attitude of beliefs of a bigot. Intolerance. Prejudice. Oh, dogmatism. Narrow-mindedness. Injustice. Fanaticism. Intolerance. Prejudice. Oh, you say, we have equal rights in Canada. Oh, there's one thing you're not aware of. In Canada, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms doesn't apply in family court. Oh, you didn't know that? You know, I bet you thought it was supreme law of the country. That for some reason, you know, equality applied across the board, that it was mandatory. Oh, somebody told you that bullshit? Where'd you hear that? In school or somewhere? Well, wake up. In the real world, it doesn't work that way. That's why 90% of fathers lose custody. That's why. That's why. How many men do you know who have custody of their kids? And the very few that do spent thousands upon thousands of dollars to acquire it. And the mother was probably a total wingnut because the prejudice is that rampant. The statistics bear me out, okay? When you're talking 90%, you're talking about a situation that can be described in only one word, and that's the word that I just played for you.
Bigotry. Bigotry.
Okay? Now, I want to talk to you about something else. I want to talk to you about an opportunity to reverse the bigotry that's currently going on in Canada's courts, the system of prejudice and discrimination that is systematic within this country, feeding a multi-billion-dollar industry. There's a new piece of legislation that's been put before the Canadian Parliament. It's an act to amend the Divorce Act, providing for equal parenting. Imagine equal parenting. I mean, this must be very anti-feminist to want equal parenting. It's like equal rights for women. Like, why would you want equal parenting? You know, after all, it's supposed to be about equality, isn't it? So there's a piece of legislation called Bill C-422, 422. And this 422 had first reading in the Canadian Parliament on June the 16th, 2009. And if you're interested in equal parenting, if your father's been screwed over by this system where 90% of men lose, then I would suggest that you do something about it. Contact your member of Parliament. Make a lot of noise. Support Bill C-422 because Bill C-422 is an equal rights piece of legislation that will deal with the issues that are currently at the forefront of this entire equality and discrimination circumstance. Look at the family, the Divorce Act, all the legislation currently mandates equality, but the courts are not respecting it. Well, this new piece of legislation, which is currently in 2009, June of 2009, will be voted on in Parliament this coming fall, is your opportunity to really change things. I suggest you do a search on the internet. Go to the House of Commons website. It was sponsored by Mr. Valcott, who's a member of the Federal Parliament, And I would suggest that you read up on Bill C-422, read what the actual law says, and it also it deals with many, many issues, not only equality, but it also deals with the importance of eliminating collusion with lawyers, the fraud that currently goes on in court, the lies that go on without any punishment or repercussions. I'm asking you, if you care about this issue, now's the time to act. Get off your duff. Go on the web. You found me on YouTube on the web to find out about this. Now go on the web, do another search in Google, check up Bill C-422, and do your research. Read it. It's a good piece of legislation. It's going to cover your ass. It's going to finally provide for equality in this society. It's going to finally put an end to this multi-billion-dollar rip-off industry that we have going on in this country, where lawyers are screwing us over, lying about our opportunity to have custody of our kids and to have equality. You know, this is not just about parents' rights. This is about kids' rights. Children have a right to have access to both of their parents. When you see statistics that 90% of children who were in the sole custody of their mother, that basically tells you that there's something awry here. You know, and this is the same thing that goes on in whether the case is disputed or not. Because a lot of men just give up because they know that they're going to lose. They're going to lose. By the way, even the criminal statistics, 80% of criminals come from single-parent families. Did you know that? There's a lot of statistics. The UN Charter of the Rights of the Child also point out that, you know, a child has a right to have a relationship with both of their parents, and the courts are not in any way being supportive of this. So I'm asking you to do some research. There's a lot of information on this. I can quote, I mean, there are public opinion polls. Most Canadians are in favor of equal legislation for parents. There's a lot of social research that has verified that, I mean, study after study has verified that children in sole custodial relationships do not do very well. And I mean, these are facts. And anyone who wants to dispute that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, it's pretty inconclusive now, okay? Or pretty conclusive. You know, anyhow, okay. You're either for it or you're not. And, you know, either you believe in equality or you're full of shit. That's all I gotta say. So why not support this piece of legislation if you really are a person with any kind of a social conscience or decency. I mean, every child has a right to have equal access to both of their parents. This is not about men, it's not about women, it's about kids' rights to access their mother and their father, the only two biological beings in this world that they have a connection to. It's their genetic inheritance, it's their God-given right. You know, if you want to go far enough, I could also point out it's also a biblical commandment. You know, honor thy mother and father. How does a kid get to honor their mother and father if they can't even have time with them?